So now it's on to a battle, as Carl Boyes said before the break, a battle of the World 9-ball champion against the World Masters champion. And I'm delighted to say, sitting on my right-hand side is a former US Open champion, my good pal Jeremy Jones.
Yeah, Phil, what a great match, and two guys that definitely know each other very well. Reigning World 9-ball champion, reigning World Pool Masters. Happy to see Alex get that title after, you know, one of the most dramatic finishes in an event you've ever seen, when Al-Kaidi banked that 9 in a couple years ago to take that World Pool Masters away from Alex. And now Kazakis to break in game number 1. Really like the interview from Aloysius Yap. I think that kid's going to make some noise. You know, he's already made noise this last couple weeks. He's going to keep it going, I believe, with a little luck. Doesn't want the 1 to fall. Now with the 2 pinned on the back rail, doubtful he goes offensive. Probably plays off of the right side of the 2, bringing the cue ball a couple rails behind the 6 and the 3. Something like that. Now Albin, who suffered an early loss. And you'll see that from Albin occasionally. It's almost like he just has an occasion of playing, you know, I wouldn't say a bad match, but sometimes making more mistakes than you would ever think from Albin early. But then he settles in and capable of winning the tournament from here. That's going to leave a gap on the 2, I believe. Nothing easy, though.
Inevitably, with you in the commentary box, Jeremy, I have to say this match has got massive Mosconi Cup implications for the European side. We know that Albin Ouschan is going to be on the team, but Alexander Kazakis could do with a really good run here to bolster his chances.
Yeah, I totally agree that I think Alex has made the name to try and get back on that team. He didn't have his best performances the first 2 times, and that happens on the Mosconi. I think if, you know, Europe squeaks out one of those when he played a little rough, he probably makes the team again last year, but they wanted to make a little change after losing 2 cups in a row, and you couldn't blame him, really. Similar shot here now than he played in the first, I believe. Or is he just banking the 2 down?
Extension, please.
Nothing easy here. Not sure what he's going to play. He banks the 2 down by the 9, brings the cue ball over behind the pink and the brown. He probably leaves a little gap on the 2 ball, so. Yeah, and that's how difficult the situation was. He knew he wasn't going to get the snooker, but he wanted to play a containing shot, and played a pretty darn good one. Tactically, I don't think you're going to find any 2 that are better when it comes to making decisions on the safety play, kicking at the ball, jumping at the ball, and of course both of them run out as well as anyone also. This is the 1-loss side, though, Phil. You know, one of these greats are going to go. One's going to continue on trying to make that final 16.
I saw Albin Ouschan yesterday, shortly after he'd lost, and I can tell you what, the vibe was clear. He wasn't in the mood for small talk. He was fuming. He's a winner through and through, and now, of course, as world champion, he's got a status to uphold.
Yeah, for sure. He's kind of a leader of the pack quietly in Europe, I think. You know, he's a bit of an introvert. And but if you know him, like you said yesterday, you can tell when he's not too happy. Big competitor. Now he's going to go at this, trying to bring the cue ball towards the 3. He's going to get a little fortunate, I think, behind the brown. Maybe not. slow start for these two.
You have to make Ouschan favourite, but Alexander Kazakis in winning the World Masters, it was one of the most extraordinary tournaments I think I've ever seen. In terms of the way he played, he wasn't in the top 5 for me, and yet he ended up winning the trophy.
Well, that's 9-ball pool if you stick with it. You know, you're going to have rough matches, and then just like any other sport, sometimes you play kind of poorly and win, and sometimes you play great and lose. But as far as steady, I think you could label that word to both of these guys. So Albin with a little higher gear, I would say, comes with a tougher shot a little better than Alex. But Alex with a cue ball that's, once he gets comfortable, he's not going to have to play many tough shots. And this here is very difficult. I don't know if he can get directly at the 3. If not, he's going to have to play a rail first shot. Well, he looks pretty comfortable. Well, no, he's aiming to the rail. I think, anyways. Oh, sweet hit there. He made that look easy, but a lot of people don't realize how tough that is with draw English, draw spin, to go rail first and calculate how the cue ball is going to come off into the object ball. I'll tell you, he gets out here. I know it's early, Phil, but that opening break tells me that Alex can put a lot of racks together putting that one ball. Now, he made it in the corner, but he's trying to put it over the corner for position. So first games have really set the tone on this TV table, it seems like.
He's the lone Greek competitor left in the event. No Nikos Economopoulos this time. We've just seen Skylar Woodward walk past. He's beaten Baram Lotfi from Denmark 11-8.
Alex Kazakis wins the first shot.
He was masterful in Gibraltar. Can he be successful in Atlantic City? Well, Alexander Kazakis has taken the first rack at least from the reigning world 9-ball champion. Now then, one of the great stories of today was a South African story. Jason Theron beating Judd Trump. And I believe we've got an interview with Jason right now.
Jason, congrats. You've just beat snooker superstar Judd Trump. Talk to us about the match.
Sure. I mean, before the match, I was obviously nervous because it's Judd. And then, I just played my game and I just tried to calm myself. And I think it was a pretty decent match. We both made mistakes, but yeah, I'm very excited.
Before the match, did you feel like you had a good opportunity to advance another round further because you was playing Judd?
No, not at all. I mean, it's Judd Trump. I mean, he's probably the best cueist in the world. So, like I said, I just took it one shot at a time, and if I won, I won.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people back home were watching that match.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you to everybody at home for all the messages supporting me, and I mean it means so much to be here. Obviously, to Matchroom as well.
Yeah, what do you think about this year's arena and the fact that you've come all the way from South Africa and you're playing in this year's US Open?
It's absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. I mean,
The second rack.
As most people know as well, South Africa and the UK, they're on a banned list to travel to the States, so it was difficult to get here. And obviously, again, thank you to Matchroom for making that possible to get here. And
Yeah, and we're glad you made the trip, of course, and congratulations on a famous win over a snooker superstar. Good luck for your next match.
Thank you.
Well spoken, Jason Theron. You can see just what it means to him Snooker, of course, in South Africa was very popular for many years. They produced a number of really good players. The uncle and nephew of Silvino and Peter Francisco, both members of the elite top 16. And the Masters tournament, which is considered our second most important event, back in the late 70s, was won by a gentleman called Perry Mans, who was a phenomenal potter.
Nice shot and a nice choice there, keeping the cue ball simple, coming up and down the table. It appears the 3 does pass the 8. The purple's got the pink a little covered up in the side, but shouldn't be a problem. Should get fairly close to this 3 ball. You know, South Africa during my heyday was starting to produce some players, and surprised they haven't put out more, to be honest with you. They're sporting. Oh, he's hit this pretty heavy here. So maybe a little nerves there, overhitting the cue ball, and got it in a little bit of a funny spot. May have to come across and play the pink in the upper corner. Wanted to play it in the side.
Now, we've just seen Jason Theron celebrating his win over Judd Trump. Who will he play next? Well, after that shot, it looks like being Naoyuki Oi. Indeed it is. The court jester from Japan has defeated Wu Kunlin from Chinese Taipei by 11 racks to 6. Wu Kunlin, of course, a couple of weeks ago won the Diamond Las Vegas Open. So that's a really good win for the man who makes us all chuckle.
Yeah, Oi, great competitor, and a guy, again, that gets, when he gets on that one-loss side, he gets going. Last few weeks in Texas, then in Vegas, he made some deep runs from the one-loss side. Now Alex played an interesting shot on the 3, trying to remove the 7 from a bad spot. And now he's going to have to play a nice shot on the purple to get on the short side of the brown. And I'm not so sure. He may have gotten dead straight in here and not what he wanted. Not only that, the cue ball falling near the cushion. So I'd say a missable ball here on the purple, especially if he has to kind of manipulate the cue ball. And you can see he's not liking it.
Extension, please.
He may elevate here and just stop his ball and take the bank shot on the brown. Yeah, that's what he's going to do. Run the cue ball too far. I don't think this is a playable bank. It's going to be something like the cue ball behind the 9 and the 7 out in the middle of the table in space. Don't really see much of anything else. I guess he could cut the 7, try and get it to the top cushion and let the cue ball come 2 rails behind the 9. It's a bit more dangerous. Now, if he goes for this bank, I don't like his chances. Is he just nipping this ball? Yeah, like that, trying to leave it long and tough for Albin. Maybe just a portion of the pocket on the brown. Pretty crafty little shot. A lot of players don't recognize, you know, if you're not trying to play a snooker field, they don't recognize good places to put the cue ball and the object ball. Snooker, you see it all the time because of the size of the table. The shots become very tough. I think he's got to cross bank this 7 to play at 2 cushions underneath the 9 and bring the cue ball all the way back down table. I think that's about all he has. Albin, a guy who doesn't really overlook much. Now, Alex, I mean, you would say, Phil, that he's not a guy that probably is thinking about much other than what's in front of him, but you think with his past Mosconi Cup performances, you know, he might know he needs a real deep run here. Pretty crafty shot here as well. What speed on the cue ball and object ball.
Yeah, that's the thing with Ouschan, isn't it? When he gets into situations of extreme pressure, he looks and exudes cool.
And when you mentioned the Greeks, I was pretty surprised we didn't see a couple others make the trip. Nick Malai and Ekononopoulos, 2 great players from Greece. All right, trying to play containing safety isn't going to be what he wanted. Wanted to catch much more of that brown 7 and lay it up on the middle of the side rail. Of course, leaving Albin a bank shot, but certainly not this cut shot. Looks like he's going 3 rails. 1-0 back and forth. Barely got that one down.
Early in his career, he had a very bad reputation as a firebrand when it came to his attitude. Now, though, he is the consummate professional, and boy, does he give it 100% every time he turns up. The first 2 racks have been shared. I get the impression this one is going to be quite a close run thing. You know, going back to the World Masters, Jeremy, in Gibraltar, the man on the right-hand side there, Alex Kazakis, it was great drama. He beat Skylar Woodward 7-3 in the quarterfinals. Nothing to write home about there with regard to the match. But then in the semi-final, he beat Eklund Kachi 7-6. It was a poor match in terms of quality. And on several occasions, Kazakis had wonderful chances to win it and eventually just limped over the line. He came back in to the players' room and he was really upset about his performance, even though he was into the final. And Kelly Fisher gave him some tough love, gave him a telling off, saying, stop moaning and get on with it.
Right.
And it really did him the world of good. He went back out for the final, and lo and behold, he whitewashed Shane Van Boning 9-0.
Yeah, and you can't do that stumbling, that's for sure. He had to put it together there in the final. And I think, you know, this table's breaking nice. We'll see how it continues to break. But if it offers, as great as these two are, if it doesn't offer a lot of breaking runs, like you said, we're going to see a close match here between these two. Obviously, both playing great still in the event.
Just a quick word on Billy Thorpe today. He was well below his best, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, Billy's at a stage where he's, I wouldn't say he's playing, you know, poor matches ever, but just a little bit here and there, up and down. He's played some really great matches in the last few weeks. Difficult rollout situation here, and not so much where do I roll out. Not to leave something easy, but where do I roll out to where Kazakis doesn't give it back to me and I'm in a pinch. Unique situation here.
Alex, your options.
Yeah, Alex may give this back. I don't see anything right offhand besides trying to get behind the brown 7. Could play it thin and get behind maybe the 8 off the left side. Touchy shot here. And winter break, Phil, that's the thing. All these shots, you know, could cost you not just one game, many games. Not sure what he's doing here.
It would be remiss of me not to tell you what's going on table 2, available, of course, on the Matchroom YouTube channel if you want to see it. Dennis Grabber from Estonia leads Jason Shaw 4-0.
Well, Dennis played a lot of great matches, made a deep run in Vegas in one of the events. And he's a guy, right, that if he can keep some of the emotions aside, very solid. Kind of fools you at times how well he plays. Touchy shot here as well. He's got to just, I think, play the cue ball behind the purple maybe. Playing the 1 down table. I don't think he's going for the make. Looks awfully steep. Yeah, that's about all he had. It opened up for Kazakis. I think Alex will knock the one between the 3-7 back around table below the 2 and bring the cue ball behind the pink, I think. Looks like it. Not one to make it, but speed control is crucial. Yeah, kind of like that. He's going to leave a window, though, I think. No, great shot. Don't think he left him much. Maybe a jump or curve at the one. Otherwise, he'll be going to this bottom rail on your screen. These are the type when they hit it, they make it about 30% of the time, probably 20% of the time, something like that. Yeah, there you go.
And let me tell you, folks, Jeremy Jones calls it right 100% of the time.
Oh, I don't know about that. 50% at the table would be fine by me, but it's just they get a great feel for it. They're trying to hit that side of the ball, and something about these players, a little bit of measurement, but a lot of touch, a lot of know-how. He's got to let the stroke out here, Phil, to get back up table.
The 8 and the 9 both blocked to a certain degree.
Yeah, this should be something like the 3 behind the brown 7, cue ball behind the pink. And you can see he's went over and looked where he wants to place the cue ball. Shoot this shot. Notice how they kind of go apart at the same speed, and then they'll kind of come to rest at the same speed, the cue ball and the 3. And he's overhit that, so it's going to get away from him. That's going to be upsetting. Got a pretty big ball with the pink to get behind. Kazakis now could take on this cross corner bank. Don't think there's really a two-way shot there much, but I'm surprised he hasn't shot yet. Really debating the bank.
Extension, please.
I think he's supposed to play the safety here, just chopping on the top side of the 3, bringing it back by the 9, the cue ball, and the 3 on the end rail. Well, he's queuing up, so that means he's attacking. Now it looks like the safety. Yeah, he's lost the object ball. He's going to need some help from the pink. He's not going to get it. So I'd say neither guy settled yet. That was a pretty big miss hit there. I mean, to lose the object ball that much, you got a big end rail to put the 3 ball on, and you may not get the snooker, but you got to at least keep Albin off the offense. Especially when it seems neither player is really comfortable yet.
Played that shot nicely from reasonable distance with lots of check side. You're right, it has been a slow start. Just hard pull. Oh, and that will be hard to take. You can just see in his demeanor, he's absolutely disgusted.
Yeah, and I don't think it's just that shot. There's been 2 or 3 shots where the timing of the stroke hasn't been that great. And it's been easy situations that have gotten him. Where Albin, known as one of the most consistent players, especially once the cue ball gets open. And the funny thing about Albin, he can really come with a tough shot as well. 3 rails around, looks like.
Third rack, Alex Kazakis.
2-1 Kazakis. It's a very serious environment here for understandable reasons. So let's lighten the mood and have a Naoyuki Oi interview.
Yes, thanks very much, Phil. Got Naoyuki with me. Naoyuki, you're... So Naoyuki Oi,
excuse.
he's had many ups and downs,
Yeah.
but this week, many ups, isn't it, Naoyuki?
Yeah.
Up.
Every time, training, concentration, me. I did play very today good. Yeah? Next match, I see Judd Trump. Oh my goodness, Judd Trump lose. Oh, no problem. I get in the only winner. Yeah.
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 He's a good player, Jason. Good player.
Yeah, good player.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, Judd is a so super famous and a super nice guy. I like face together play and me very happy. Yeah, next time.
You're happy you're playing very well this
Yeah,
week?
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice play. Me, no problem.
No problem.
Maybe today qualify. Oh, maybe win.
Yeah.
Many money. Yeah.
Phil, back to you, Phil.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alex.
Follow that, eh? Follow
The
that.
fourth rack, Alex Kazakis.
He really is one on
2-1.
his own, isn't he, Naoyuki Oi? Get him in the team room for the US Mosconi Cup team. That would lighten them up.
Oh, that'd be great. And I was fortunate enough to get to room with Oi here just a few weeks ago at the Texas State Open, and what a treat. In the hotel, going over English and different things. Yeah, I'll tell you what, he can make you shake off a loss quicker than anything, I think.
And some people might think, oh, it's just one big act. He's not like that. He really is.
No, he really is. He, to be honest with you, the heritage. I mean, I've been to Japan many times, and of course, Oi's unique to his own. But see a lot of fun-loving characters in Japan, that's for sure. I think he needs to take this bank on, get the arms going, try and put some racks together. I think he's got to feel like Albin's going to put some racks together when he gets a chance. So, cross side bank, little draw on the cue ball. He drew it a little bit. So he's going to have to take a long shot on the 2, but the pink is near. The purple over the side, so probably the shot of the rack here to get a 2-game lead at 3-1. Oh, sweet stroke there, Phil. That shot alone could help Kazakis really settle in.
Yeah, I think his Mosconi Cup experiences, which weren't positive, were they? I think they've lit a fire in his belly. I think he wants to get back there and get on the road to redemption.
Well, when it comes to consistency, that's how he made the team. One of the most consistent players in Europe, week in, week out. Kachi, they both debuted the same in 2018, I believe it was. And Kachi didn't have his best Mosconi Cup that year either. It was hard to deny him getting on the team again, and you saw how he bounced back in 19 and in 20. 19 they didn't win, but he sure did play well. I think he was their best player in 19 myself. And then last year, Jason Shaw took down the MVP, but I thought Kachi played really well also.
Well, he's had a couple of monumental disappointments over the years as an individual, Kazakis. Getting to the semi-final of the 2018 World 9-Ball Championship, eventually losing in a hill decider to Joshua Filler, the eventual winner. And then, of course, there was the World Masters in 2019 when he was somehow beaten by David Al-Qaedi. Al-Qaedi banking the decisive ball after trailing 5-0 and 8-5. And I think both of those two defeats really stung. And maybe they were a precursor to the way he played in the Mosconi Cup. It has to be remembered, Jeremy, that at one stage he was top of the World Pool Association rankings.
Yeah, absolutely. And a guy that's come a long ways in just some 6 or 7 years. Coming to the U.S. Open some years ago when I first saw him, never thought he'd be at the point he's at. You know, Alex, I think, kind of hit it later than most, like a Josh Filler hitting the scene and winning at 21 years old, 20 years old, Federer Gorse. But Kazakis really, very shaky there with the cueing.
Wins the rack.
Well, that was worrying signs. It's only the fourth racket. He's hand moved and he got right into the shot, and he so nearly missed that 9-ball. He nearly dogged it, as they say, but he does lead the world champion 3-1. Only 3 matches being played in loser round 6 of the US Open. Alexander Kazakis leads Albin Ouschan 3-1 on the main match table. Chang Junlin leads Omar Al-Shaheen, runner-up to Ouschan in the World Championship in June. Chang leading 9-6 there. And Marco Schutter 8-7 up on Jose Delgado.
Yeah, and that's the break I was talking about. The one ball coming around could really put some racks together. A little hampered by the 8 and the queuing here, and I'm not so sure the 2 is very playable. If he wasn't elevated, he'd definitely screw the cue ball back and try and produce something on the 2, but we'll see what he elects to do here instead. May still go for it. Yeah, he's going to size it up right now. I'm sure he'll back off the shot here in a moment. Not coming back. Yeah, Alex usually gets a feel for it. I think he's got to attack. Trying to get maybe short side, maybe get into the 2 and 3. First things first, though, got to pocket a tough 1 being elevated over the 8. Oh, sweet stroke there. Going to be a little heavy with the cue ball. Well, maybe not.
Well, there you can see from our excellent camera work just a modicum of room between cue ball and the blue 2.
Yeah, and he's kind of forced to shoot at this, I believe. He may be able to thin it and run the cue ball, but otherwise he's kind of trapped a little bit. Got to avoid that scratch in that corner also. So again, sometimes you go offensive and it puts you in a pickle, but that's what these guys are. That's why they're so great. I think he's going to try and just thin it and run the cue ball. Don't think he can afford to try and make it. I think that really brings the scratch right there into play. Well, he may have gotten fortunate, and I think he deserved that roll a little bit after a great shot on the 1. Albin wouldn't think that, but.
And there you see the convention in pool that we witness all the time. A player acknowledging he's been lucky by tapping the table with his cue. Doesn't make the other guy feel any better, but at least it's etiquette.
Yeah, it's not something I was raised doing in the pool room, I wouldn't say. A lot of challenge matches we had. I think Albin's going to give this one a chance to go in that upper corner by the green. Don't really see a kick safety that's that great. He may put the 2 behind the purple and the green maybe. Oh, great hit there. It's going to leak out a little bit, so Kazakis is going to go offensive, but about all Albin can do.
The balls, Jeremy, for both players not cooperating, are they?
No, they aren't. Kind of squeaked that one home, but could have got a little bit more out of the 3 ball, that's for sure. And now he's got to play some type of safety. Touchy shot, floating the 3 by the 4-6 and bringing the cue ball behind the 9, something like that. I'm surprised he's not entertaining going for this. Yeah, because if, like here, if it gets away from him, he's going to take the worst of it. So nerves are high. It's been the overhit on a lot of shots.
You might be thinking, why is the World 9-ball champion on the loser's side? Well, the reason for that, in winners round 2, he lost 11-5 to Viktor Zielinski.
Yeah, well, Zielinski really kind of put on a show in a few matches in Vegas, so not too surprising there. And great shot. And that's why those safeties there can't be soft safeties at this level. You can't be containing shots. It's got to really get the snooker for the most part. Another one of those kicks here, Phil, where when they hit it, it seems like they make it at a decent rate. think he can go with a high ball here. He's got to go with more of a center cue ball. Not sure he's left a good pocket by the 9. Thin cut shot in the side. I think Albin takes this on in the side myself. Stays pretty darn aggressive for the most part.
Tell you what, Jeremy, I thought he played that pretty well, but the red 3 ball only just went in off that far jaw. You played in the tournament, you played 3 or 4 matches. The middle pockets have to be fully respected, don't they?
Yeah, diamond tables when they came out in the early 90s and then, or late 80s actually. Oh no, another miss to that same pocket. When they came out with the pro cut table, it was kind of like first thing people talked about as the side pockets, how difficult they are. So Albin, you know, I know we're only about to be at 4-1, assuming Kazakis gets out here, but I'm not sure if a timeout is warranted, some type of mental break for Albin. He's got to shore this up because this could get out of hand quickly.
It could, although with Kazakis' past history of missing a ball you can't quite believe purely through pressure, I'm taking nothing for granted even here.
Well, both these guys, to their credit, are the types that can win matches all different types of ways. Grind it out with some safeties, kicking, maybe an error or two, and then they can certainly run a bunch of racks also.
Albin Ouschan has won 2 tournaments in the Matchroom Full Series this year, not just the World Championship, but also the Championship League. And he got very annoyed during that, even though he went on to win it, and I think he's getting internally upset right now. This is the situation for Alexander Kazakis. He's rode here. A couple of early wins and then an 11-3 loss to Dennis Okolio, and that's no disgrace. I think Okolio is playing some of the best pool of anyone here. By the way, he's currently playing over on table 8 against Oliver Zsolnoki of Hungary in the winners' qualification round, and Okolio leads 3-2.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be tied up here shortly, and good chance Alex didn't get to shoot much in that loss, 11-3. See a score line like that.
In and out for Ouschan. He's completed 2 big whitewashes, but of course that defeat by Zielinski has put him behind the 8 ball, if you pardon the pun.
Yeah, and I think he, you know, you got to take it in stride, but you could fear, I think, Alex putting a few racks together and getting this lead extended. You know, sometimes the matches just won't allow that, like right here, the 1 ball getting covered up. He's used a variety of speeds. The first time he cut him at a little lighter speed, I thought that was the break to stick with myself. He's going to have to roll out here, and difficult rollout with the 9 in position. So you can't roll out to thin the 1 and easily move the cue ball without running into the 9. So I'm not sure where he rolls out here. The pink 4 is doing him some favors, being a little funny over there with the 7 blocking. Anytime you have to roll out, you're trying to lengthen the game. I like this rollout here, rolling out to the cross corner bank. Probably leaves the cue ball just a little bit off the rail.
Push out called.
I think that's the right shot. I like that shot a lot. And he wants a little bounce off the rail there with the cue ball. That way you can cue it. You don't want to have to roll a bank shot. I'm not so sure that Albin passes this, even though it's tough. He's looking to see if there's a safety he's missing.
I think the one thing you want to do with a jump shot is to give your opponent some form of mental dilemma.
Yeah, well, definitely. And he's going to pass it. He doesn't want to take on the offensive shot. And that could be because of the pink 4 being a little bit messed up. Could bank the 1 across by the 4, trying to get the cue ball behind the 9 or behind the 8. Not a safety you'll get ball in hand off of, which you rarely do at this level anyways, but just trying to improve your situation. It's going to be a little off on speed. He better hope he doesn't leave a kiss shot on the 7. Oh, that 1 ball got stuck to the rail, so that may slow Albin down a little bit. And I know the scoreline may not tell you so, but knowing Alex, I think he's a bit overly nervous right now, Phil.
Could not agree with you more. I think one of his problems, he wants it almost too badly.
Well, he's a hard worker, and that's why he came up in the ranks so quickly. Taking on the bank here. Looks like it's going to hang. No, it got away from the pocket.
We must say about Kazakis, of course, hasn't just suffered disappointments on the big occasion. He's won some big events like the Kremlin World Cup in 2016. Remained unbeaten to win that. Won the Austrian Open on the Euro Tour in 2018, beating Dennis Graber in the final. And the European 10-ball championship in 2015, so he's got a pretty good resume.
Oh, absolutely. You can't get to that ranking he got to at one point without it. And of course, made those 2 Mosconi Cup teams off of points. All right, the 1's probably going to contact the 9. Oh, no, it got by the 9, so nice kick shot there. He's going to be happy with this result, even if he's left him a long, tough 1 ball. And that's what you do when you see your opponent struggling, which Albin has so far in this match. Just nothing easy to get started. Watch out, 8-ball. Okay, now he's perfect to get to the short side of the pink. Big shot for Albin here in game number 6.
And that's what he did, you know, in that world final at Milton Keynes against Omar Al-Shahini. At times looked a little bit vulnerable, but when the chips were down, he found a solution.
Yeah, well, he's not going to be happy with that either. So really the timing is what's off so far for Albin. You know, a good 2 feet short with the cue ball, which is not something you'll see from him very often, especially in a position that he was so natural to get position. So now a bank shot cross side. Got to draw the cue out a little bit.
Well, just what the doctor ordered, especially with a really good pot from distance to initiate things. So Albin Ouschan gets his 2nd rack on the board for this match for him. For both of them, in fairness, has been tough going. Now let's take a look over onto table 2, where Dennis Graber from Estonia has grabbed the attention. He's grabbed the lead against Jason Shaw. And how about this? Eagle Eye, who was so good against Judd Trump last night, suddenly finds himself in a world of hurt.
Yeah, and I think Dennis, of course, we do have that one on the camera, but I think maybe did him a few favors, maybe not being on the main table just yet against Shaw, especially Shaw coming off that big win on the main table. So Dennis just kind of course, on a table being that you can view on the Matchroom YouTube channel, but still, like I said, probably a good thing he's not center stage just yet.
Albin Ouschan's fellow Austrian, Maximilian Lechner, is on the hill
27
against
Frank.
Rodrigo Geronimo in their
Break.
winners' qualification
Training
match.
for 2.
Lechner leads 10-2.
Now Ouschan to break here in game number 7. Okay. Again, sometimes the one ball just doesn't agree to put racks together, and we've seen it again here. He's got, I think, a pretty easy safety just to glance off the top of the 1 and slide the cue ball behind the 3. Touchy shot, but looks like it lays pretty natural. Pretty crafty. Gonna be a soft kick, it looks like to me. He's got to put some side spin on it also to get back at the 1. Type of shot you're going to hit soft, but believe it or not, you may not get a rail with the cue ball. If he gets underneath the 1 here with this side spin, notice him cueing extreme left English. Trying to bend the cue ball back at the 1. That's not going to get it, is it? Okay. Nice shot. Well, Phil, we've seen a lot of racks run on this table so far in the last 4 days, but not so much in this match.
This is Poole's answer to trench warfare. Incremental gains. So hard fought.
I think Alex should cut the 1 into the 4 here, and with a lot of left spin, I think he can bring the cue ball 1 row over behind the purple, going towards the bottom of your screen, and get a good look at that 1-4. I think, anyways, that looks like the shot to me. Cut the 1 into the 4, let the, the position of the 4. It's going to move a little bit. The 1 will kind of replace where the 4's at and kind of drag the cue ball behind the 5 a little bit with top left English. Could go rail first, doing somewhat of the same, but I like ball first. Yeah, like that. Now he went a little further, trying to get behind the 9. Smart shot, though.
Extension call.
We're playing 9-ball pools, so fortune does count. You can get a little lucky. You don't have to call it. So some guys would just blast at this 1, trying to create a little luck, where Albin's trying to play a much more calculated shot, trying to just bump the 1 up the rail to where he doesn't leave anything, like a triple combination here. Alex. I don't know if he can really move the one past the pink and get him up on the pink. That looks to me very touchy, very difficult. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to push the yellow past the pink, bring the cue ball back up on the pink, I think. Okay, he got there.
Good news for Austria, even though Albin Ouschan's trailing here. Max Lechner did beat Rodrigo Geronimo by 11 racks to 2, so he's into the last 16.
I've yet to put my eyes on Geronimo, but he's going to have another chance to make that final 16. But what a tournament so far for that man. Jump shot here, trying to play the kiss shot off the 3, with the 1. He missed the 3. Well, he didn't catch it as heavy as he liked. So what is this, 4 exchanges on the 1 ball so far apiece, something like that?
No tap on the table from Albin Ouschan, but he did admit that he's happy with the result, which is a little unintentional.
He can barely get between the rail there and the pink to squeeze the cue ball by. Oh, what a smart shot there. Well executed as also, and I don't think he's left him any of the yellow. So to the air again it is, Phil. Much more difficult shot than the last. Not so hard to get over it, but really to be predictable making the 1. Watch out for the scratch in the lower right-hand corner. Wow, how'd that not fall?
And the gap's there.
Looks like I thought Kazakis had a window, but now grabbing his jump cue. And this may be just so he can get position on the 2. He can get to the right side of the 1. Touchy shot coming out of the pocket with the cue ball, but he's got to get all the way over to the other side for the 2 ball. That's going to run on him a bit, so he's got a shot on the 2, but you can see what the natural angle wants to do, and that's not go towards the 3. So you let the draw stroke out here? I think so. May need a bit of fortune here to get position on the 3. A little punchy. Wasn't quite so sweet.
Lack of fluency in this match, isn't there?
Yeah, and, you know, to both guys' credit, sometimes when the balls lay funny and you have to play all these tactical shots, and you're, you know, a lot of stress when you're doing that as well, kicking at the ball, thinking you're going to give up a game, maybe 3 or 4 if someone can run some racks, can get you a little tight. That's going to contact the 8, the 2 ball is, and I'm not sure it's going to be what Albin wanted. Sweet shot there. And I'll tell you, you can see the nerves going on, just like Aloysius Yap in his interview. But I think, like for Aloysius, what I always consider, there's prepared nerves, Phil, and there's unprepared nerves. When you're prepared, I think it can make you play great and do things you maybe haven't done before. Somewhat of what I see from Aloysius, and then sometimes the nerves can become overwhelming to where you kind of just don't even know where you're at times. I'd like to know what the nerves were like for Judd Trump. being in unfamiliar territory.
Well, very familiar territory for Chang Junlin, is being on the verge of victory, and he is against Omar Al Shaheen. This 9-ball over on table 3 to win 11-7. Oh, it stays out.
Wow, and that's tournament life for both those guys. This is overrun quite a bit. This is going to get really hairy for Alex, and he's wondering what the heck has happened there. And now he may have to turn the cue ball loose a little bit, taking on this cut shot.
You know, when Omar Al Shaheen got to the final of the World 9-Ball Championship, he came so close to elimination. If my memory serves me correct, it might have been against Chris Melling. There, Chang Junlin misses the 9-ball to win. Can Omar squeeze out of that one?
And we'll keep you updated there, but what a sweet shot on the 7, and had to put a little spin on that to throw the ball in, a little draw to check the cue ball also. So you think some of these shots in this rack here by Alex, a tough 2-ball to start, may settle the guy a little bit.
Alex Kazakis wins the round.
I think it's fair to say the start of the match was irritating for Albin Ouschan. Right now, irritation has been replaced by genuine concern. He trails Alexander Kazakis 5-2. Match is currently being played here over 2 different rounds. The winner's qualification round
Alex Kazakis is
and
match 5-2
loses round 6. I can tell you Marco Shooter now on the hill against Jose Delgado, shooter leading 10-8. We know Chang Junlin had a great chance and blew it to beat Omar Al Shaheen, so Chang 10-8 up when it should have been all over.
Yeah, rare open shot, especially to win. You'll see missed by Chang. Is the one ball going to agree on? Open shot. We'll see what the purple and the pink do, and that's pretty ugly. I think the pink may go, but the 6 is in the way. Maybe a 4-5 combo in the side later in the rack. But finally, an open shot on the 1 for these guys.
Just a couple of winners' qualification scores to give you at the moment. Dennis Grabber's lead over Jason Shaw being slightly eroded to 7-4. Dennis Acolio taking control against Oliver Sholnocki, the Filipino leading 7-3.
Okay, digging on the cue ball here. Come one rail most likely for the 3 in the opposite corner. He's got a lot of problems with the pink though, and he's kind of overran a little bit of where he wanted on the 3, so he's got an angle going away for position on the pink and what might turn into a missable ball if he really tries to do something with the cue ball. Yeah, Dennis Acolio, I think he's going to be there at the end. Stays comfortable, doesn't let the nerves get to him.
Yeah, he's so unstar-like, isn't he, when you see him? You just think he's a normal bloke, and he just turns up and pots everything.
Yeah, and I think the format and the tables really allowed him to get comfortable. The break, I think he doesn't have a poor break by any means, but the break can slow anybody down. But knowing he's going to get shots, and then also knowing that it's going to be difficult for his opponent to run tons of racks on this equipment. So time at the table for a guy like Dennis, it's going to do nothing but terrible things for his opponent. And you could see how difficult position on the pink was. He didn't even take on that 3 in the corner. Albin may, though. He may come 2 rails right at the 9 with the cue ball. That's what I like. High right English. No, he's not even playing it. He's left a piece of the 3. Now, Alex will play it. He'll try to get below the pink here. I know there's a lot of congestion there, but the angle offers pretty natural to go at this. He's got to dodge a side pocket with the cue ball and then come down below, kind of where the cue ball's at now.
That cluster of 3 balls in mid-table causing problems, slowing down the rack, slowing down a match that's already quite pedestrian.
Yeah, not much Albin can do here. He's got to just chop the 3 and run the cue ball back behind the 9.
Well, in deference to my old commentary colleague, Jeremy, Ted Lerner, in this case, he would say he's behind a wall of balls.
Surprised Ted's not here. Maybe the trip from the Philippines too tough at the moment. And again, this is a nice kick shot, but nothing offered offensive for Albin. You could hear the fans after that safety from Albin trying to get him going a little bit. I think they kind of see the same things, that frustrations in the air for Albin, and after a few misses, nothing agreeing as far as giving him an open shot. So he's got to be careful here edging this ball. Anytime you have a wall of balls like that, you can't really let your opponent see much near it, or else he can really put you in a pickle easily. And this leaked out as well.
Don't know about you, Jeremy, but to me, the air seems out of Albin's tyres.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like I said, Albin being an introvert, I'm believe it or not, I'm an introvert myself a little bit. It's hard to tell, hard to figure what's going on sometimes with Albin. Like almost abnormally frustrated. Is that what you would say sometimes, Phil? I mean, we all get frustrated, but sometimes it seems a little abnormal, like a little much with Albin.
Yeah, I think the problem is he sets himself such very high standards, and if he doesn't meet them,
Extension
he finds
call.
it hard to accept.
Right. Well, bit of a perfectionist then maybe. He uses extension, going to size up this jump shot. I'm sure this is where he's going with it. The kick shot not too tough. He's going to kick across the table.
Is anyone surprised, by the way? Omar Al-Shaheen and Chang Junlin have just gone hill.
No, after that missed 10 ball. Easy to get punished. Well, he's going to love this. I think anyways. No, it ran out. Okay, it looks like he's digging on the cue ball. And this is mainly to get clear of the pink. He doesn't want to get snookered, pocketing the 3, getting on the pink, taking some chance. And cueing is definitely not good at all. I mean, that was... Q-tip came up, the swing was not too good. He was trying to slowly come around at them balls. Didn't want much speed on the object, on the cue ball at all. And now he's put himself in a jam. Not sure where he's going with the cue ball here. Maybe trying to get back underneath the 6, maybe? Your guess is as good as mine. A bit of rolling the dice there, I think, Phil.
Well, Kazakis' expression as he left the table didn't give much away. But really, when he had the pot over the pocket, the cue ball after it should have been nowhere near where it ended up.
Well, I can't see the table, but I could see Omar's expression after his break here at Hill. Kind of think he may have a shot over there. Get you the report as soon as we can.
Ouschan needs to just tidy these up and then go again.
Shot there, good cue ball. We're talking about Chang and Al-Shaheen, but Jason Shaw now shoring it up at 7-6, trailing Dennis Grape. Well, bit out of sorts on the 9 here, Phil. This is the proverbial 50-yard line.
Yeah, and given the way the match has been going, I would not place an awful lot of money on this going into the pocket. I think he will pot it, but there's a big element of doubt.
You can never bet against these guys, but I agree with you. Nothing's certain so far in this match.
Albin Ouschan wins the
Stayed down on the shot, was nice and still, and he's still in the contest. 5-3. But I'll tell you what, this is a match that is taking an awful lot out of both players. We just talked about Jason Shaw and Dennis Grabber over on table 2. Shaw seems to have regained his mojo, just one rack behind. And there is Omar Al-Shaheen and Chang Junlin, 10-10. Everything resting on the next 4 balls.
And I can't quite tell. It looks like just the 8 and 9 tied up on the side rail there. So got to bury this 5 ball. Should have shape on the 6. That shouldn't be the problem. But what's he going to do on the 8 and 9? Is he going to gamble and go into him? He could play a safety. He could play for a cross-side bank, it looks like. Looks like to me he's set up to take a chance here and go into the balls. Dangerous shot. Still may have to play a safety, Phil. This looks tough.
Just hang on.
Of all the live
Frankie,
contenders, he was the first to go to the 1-loss side, but he's still hanging around. Can he squeeze through again? Oh, the old anywhere but there shot.
Yeah, I'm not sure he has a playable shot here. Nothing worse than having to play safe on the 9. Hill. It looks like he's going for it. Not taking much time. Should know right from the hit. Looks like he's overcut it. Ooh, got on the end rail though. Nothing easy for Chang, it doesn't appear. Well, I'll tell you, if he's got to spin this in, there's a scratch shot looming.
What a cracking finish there, eh? Sweaty palms time over on table 3.
Yeah, if that's off the rail, that makes things a lot easier. But if it's close to that rail or on the rail, this is tough. Chinese Taipei's top player. It's the same corner that got him on the 10 earlier.
The relief will be palpable. Had he lost that match, he would not have got to sleep tonight. He would have been thinking about the missed 9 ball. As it is, though, he gets a second chance to get over the line, and he just about does so. Chang Junlin defeats Omar Al-Shaheen, this year's World 9-Ball Championship runner-up, dramatically 11-10. And now Chang awaits the winner of the match we're watching here.
Please.
Albin Ouschan against Alexander Kazakis.
And that'll be to get into the final 16. So all kinds of drama brewing here in Atlantic City. Awkward cueing where you're playing all ball fouls. The only way to play. So you can't touch the 2, can't sliver the 6. Nice shot there, and he's got to make another nice one on the 2 ball. But how often do we really see Albin look comfortable? And it's not like all the time, or not very often in my perspective anyways.
Now there you see, look, very left-eyed when he cues. Not under the chin. You get that in all cue sports where players have the master eye, which is predominant. In his case, left.
Yeah, I'm the same. Right-handed player, left eye dominant.
What you sometimes see is that players start right under their chin, and as they get older, they drift to one side or the other.
Yeah, the eye becomes more dominant. That's definitely something in my case. Tried to get it under the middle, but it just never wanted to stay there. Always wanted to go a little bit under that left eye. A little smoother with the stroke these last few.
Another result for you. Marco Shooter has defeated Jose Delgado, actually, because he's from Spain. If he was from Portugal, it would be Jose.
Got a little flat here, but not a problem. Has enough angle to cue with a little top left English. Make the cue ball run 2 rails for what should be the 9 in the upper left corner. Oh, he stunned it. Nice shot. Fooled me there. And now the draw within a game.
Albin Ouschan wins the rack.
Albin Ouschan within 1. When he was 5-2 down, you began to worry about him. Now, though, getting those 2 racks on the board, clearly he's right back in the fight. That also applies to Jason Shaw. Now all square with Dennis Grabber at 7-7. In the other winners' qualification match going on, Dennis Akolio leads Oliver Sholnoki 7-5. As we see, Jason, such a natural talent. And this is how he tied it up. So that started out as best of 21 racks. Now it's 7-7. It's basically been distilled to a best of 7. Tonight we've got some cracking matches for you, including on table 1, Shane Van Boning against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, a Spaniard who plays very fluently, very quickly, and at times brilliantly.
5-4.
Yeah, I think his rating now is the top Spaniard. Another guy that's looking for that big win. He's won some Euro tours. Oh, look at that. 3 down, 4 down. Now is the 1 going to give him anything? Don't see it happening. If he's got the bank, he may take it on, but I think the 6 may have gotten just in the way. But Ruiz, we had Alcady on here yesterday who played great, phenomenal match from start to finish. And both those guys looking for that big title. It's kind of, I wouldn't say eluded them. I mean, it's tough to win, but they're in position now in the last few years, and their game is in position that, you know, that's something that they want, and I would have to say it's coming soon. Got to be excited for the pool world, though. So many more tournaments coming on. Of course, the announcement of the UK Open with, I think, more tournaments beyond that by Matchroom. Shaving the 1 here. Tough shot here. This is the type of shot you hate because you know you're never getting ball in hand off of this shot, but you could certainly give up a shot, and he's done real well.
Must be so hard to take when you decimate a rack like that. Knock in 4 balls and have no position on the 1, because clearly there, had he had position on the 1, that would have been the rack over in no time.
Yeah, he broke so well he had a shot on every other ball on the table besides the 1.
Extension, please.
I think he's got a sliver of the 1 here, but he still may go to the back of it and play real first shot. If he's cutting the 1, he doesn't want to catch the point with the 1 ball. He wants the 1 to go down table. Oh, he kicked it anyways. Thought that was the smartest shot. The 1's going to get past the pocket. Albin Ouschan can cut the ball thin from distance, and we'll see if he takes this one on. Problem is, I'm not sure he really has a choice. Doesn't appear of any safety, and you can see that's the problem when you make so many on the break. Hard to run for cover, Phil.
And under pressure, I think cutting extremely thin from this kind of distance is perhaps the toughest thing of the lot to commit to do.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to actually threaten missing the entire ball going in. That's how thin this one is. But like I said, I'm not really sure he has any other play other than an offensive shot. Yeah, that's that 4 1/4. Makes all the difference. And I hope the rest of the pool world realizes. Of course, you're going to create a few more misses, but I think the players really appreciate this, the tougher equipment. Kazakis coming off the left side of the one, just coming one rail. Still a little jumpy with the stroke, in my opinion. Oh my, look at this. Did he get snookered? Wow. So that's hard luck, right? Coming down the table, one ball, you hit it, and you carry it with the cue ball to snooker you on a ball that's some 6 or 8 inches from the pocket. Still a huge favorite to make this.
Alex Kazakis wins two.
And the 2-rack gap enjoyed by Kazakis is restored. He leads 6-4. It's tough going right now for Albin Ouschan. World champions sometimes have it tough. Now this is what's been happening on the outer tables in the loser round 6 so far today. Plenty of close matches, none more so than Chang Junlin in a very tense encounter coming through against Omar Al-Shaheen. They see Marco Schutter beating Jose Delgado from Spain. Naoyuki Oi playing nicely, overcoming Wu Kunlin from Chinese Taipei, a recent tournament winner in Vegas. Skylar Woodward, he beat Baram Lotfi from Denmark 11-8. Joshua Filler, the defending champion, back on the winning horse, beating Alan Rolla Rosado 11-6. Good result that, because Rosado overcame Earl Strickland 11-1 in the previous round. Neil Svein fought hard to beat Roland Garcia. Wojciech Szewczyk. It's been a really good tournament for the Poles, and he came through together with Konrad Jojushin and also Thomas Kaplan.
And there's a Canadian you didn't mention there, John Moore, I think, who is gaining some steam after an early loss in the tournament. Now Kazakis to break in game 11. Oh, the cue ball got an awful kiss there, and we may see an early one here we don't see very often with a 2-9 combo. Now, if there's any chance of missing it, Albin won't play the combo, but man, it looks pretty sweet to me.
He didn't have much going for him today, but Billy Thorpe had one of these when he was on the verge of defeat, admittedly. He had a 1-9 combination. Anyone could have potted.
Albin Ouschan wins the right.
2-9, there it is. And so, in the blink of an eye, Ouschan back within 1. It's Alexander Kazakis 6, Albin Ouschan 5, in one of the hardest fought matches, and indeed one of the slowest matches, one has to say, we've seen on table 1 thus far during the US Open of 2021.
Yeah, that combo there will help the pace of play, but Jason Shaw making a huge comeback, and now looks like gonna get a 2-game lead if he can pot this 9-ball. Now the thing about Grabe is we always talk about, can he keep his cool? You know, if he gets a chance, is he frustrated from losing this lead? Did he make a few mistakes to lose this lead? He's got to leave it behind. But I think that's what I saw in Vegas that made a huge difference in his game. Much more carefree, not so worried.
Rack number 12. Albin Ouschan trails 6-5.
the gap closing on table 8. Dennis Okolio's lead over Oliver Szolnocki now down to 7-6.
And Shinaki to break as well. Speaking of breaking, that's what I'm talking about with the one ball coming around. Now, it doesn't always agree, but here it looks pretty good. Looks like he's got a great shot on the 1, natural position on the 2. He's made the 3 and 4 on the break, so depends on how he wants to play this, and he's got a bit of concern if he can get at the left side of this 1, so maybe he can't play this. I thought he could. I think even if he has to add a ton of left spin to try and throw this 1 ball in, he'll take that chance. He may get into the 6 ball with the cue ball a little bit, but if he's cueing low English, that tells me he may be throwing this. Yeah, he's throwing it in, it looks like to me. Risky shot. See how soft he had to play it to make sure the spin really took. And that's the type of shot I wonder if Judd Trump really has ever fooled with. Really a big heavy swerve on the cue ball and really using the English to pot the ball. Not something you'll see in snooker.
Well, when they've got a coax a red in or a ball that doesn't look quite on, they do use side to flick it in.
Right, but not from distance. I never saw it. Usually they're pretty close to their work, right?
Yeah, down the business end of the table, the scoring end.
Right. That's what when I help people, a little bit of teaching here and there, and they ask about snooker all the time because of how well the guys make the shots, but a bit easier when your tip's in the center of the cue ball. Now Albin's starting to let the right arm get a little loose.
This is going to be, undoubtedly now, the last match of this round to finish. They wouldn't know whether Chang Junlin had won or not. Perhaps just as well they don't know who they're playing next. Just concentrate on the task at hand.
Yeah, that's right. You know, that's the good thing about a pro event versus maybe some regional events. I think a pro event, you really leave behind your opponent because you know they're all so difficult, especially a U.S. Open. And they do know it's day 4, so. That's perfect speed there. So settling in and has to be happy with the break. Hasn't gotten a shot on the 1 every time, but he's made balls and he's hit them well.
Too early to say he's weathering the storm, but the shutters have been put up and he's back on level terms. Albin Ouschan fighting for his life.
Thank you, Rex 13. Albin Ouschan to break. We all squared 6 racks each.
Marcel Eckhart announcing the start of rack 13. Nothing to choose between them. We thought before this match it was going to be keenly contested between 2 European heavyweights, and that's precisely what's happened. Again, though, Ouschan with an effective break, barring the fact that the one ball refuses to come to the party.
Yeah, actually very surprising that really neither of these guys have really gotten a hold of the speed of the break, or maybe not contacting the one exactly how they want to keep that cue ball in the center of the table. Seems most have found a break here on the main table, and most of the tables that is fairly effective. We've only had, I think, 1 break and run in the entire match. Again, another very difficult safety. I think he's got to just shave the one again, but these types of shots can easily get away from you, and again, it's not something you're going to get ball in hand off of, just a containing safety, and that's how tough it is. He's going to play the push out. Oh, he's pushed out a long ways here.
Options.
I don't understand this push out at all. There's no way he's getting this back. I don't think. Wouldn't you just push the one past the purple and put the cue ball in the back of the purple, I think. Very surprising push out here from Albin. Unless the camera's fooling me. Very possible. Looks to me he can just roll this ball. I know, again, it's a soft safety. You're not going to get ball in hand most likely, but he should get the snooker. Oh, way light. And if that shows anything about nerves, I mean, he had a lot of room to push that one past the 4, or excuse me, past the 5, and he's missed his target by a long ways.
Yeah, that was tentative with a capital T, wasn't it? Now he's the one, look, with head in hands. Kazakis hating that shot, hating the way the match has suddenly turned against him.
You know, an error is one thing. You can shake those off, Phil, but it's really about how the error comes about. And if it's nerves that got you there, he'll recognize that, and that's what will be very alarming. Because guess what? This match is far from over, and Kazakis has still got to come to the table and perform. And again, I think a pretty poor push out by Albin. I'm not saying it was easy, but I don't think he was ever supposed to get it back, and I don't think he was ever supposed to get it back, even more so with a shot on the 1. Doesn't look totally committed on what he's doing with the cue ball here. Okay, that looks nice.
Albin Ouschan wins to
4 of the last 5 racks have fallen to the world 9-ball champion. And for the first time in the contest, Albin Ouschan hits the front. He leads 7-6. Tight matches also on table 2 and table 8. Denis Akolio now 8-6 up on Oliver Szolnoki from Hungary. Jason Shaw 9-8 up on Dennis Grabber from Estonia. That's on table 2 and also available on the Matchroom YouTube channel, as indeed is all of the action on table 2 throughout the week.
And Okulo at the table to extend that lead to 9-6. It looks like he should get out. And Dennis, who's kind of even, a couple early draws that many had that you figured the matches may be a little lopsided, but he's had some good wins easily. Maybe good for him if he gets through this match with a bit of a close one.
Albin Ouschan leads the match by 7 racks to 6.
You're going to play some close ones to win this tournament, that's for sure. Now we'll see if Albin can get the speed on the 1 and contain the cue ball. The 8 should go down. Oh, an awful kiss on the cue ball. We'll see what happens. He's going to get a cut on the 1. It's going to be thin, but I think it's probably one he takes on, Phil.
Yeah, the brown 7 ball caused the problem there. He held the cue ball pretty well in the middle of the table until that collision.
And he's thin here, so he'll probably come some 2 rails for position on the 2, not the 2-7 combo. If he was a little heavier on the 1, he may play that 2-7, but I think he's definitely going to attack here. Should come some 2 cushions and just rest the cue ball a little bit above the 7 here. Of course, the first things first, the emphasis is pocketing the ball. Guys like this shot, though, with a little outside English. They get very comfortable shooting it. He's hit it thick, and that was definitely not his best motion. Uh-oh. Wow, what a roll. What a roll not to scratch him. Cue ball probably not there if he makes it, but it could have been.
Horrible cueing now, isn't it?
Yeah, he may not even try to take this 1 ball on. I know it's a difficult safety to come across the 1 and place the cue ball behind the 3 and really control everything.
Extension, please.
Shooting out of the pocket, like you said, most difficult cueing there is. So he may go ahead and attack. If he attacks with some speed, watch out for the 9 ball. It could get kissed with the cue ball. Oh, he's overcut it. So Albin looking for a little gap on the cue ball. And
thanks, Alex.
Doesn't have a shot, but happy to be able to get at this kick shot, I think.
Now, Kazakis was looking at his work there to see whether the cue ball had finished, and he was reminded by Marcel Eckhart to basically get out of the way because of the 30-second shot clock. You don't want anyone impeding your look at the balls because you've got a limited amount of time.
Called.
That's right. It's just a natural reaction to want to know what the results are, but could make this. Cue balls should go up table off these 2 rails. Albin, like you said, with 2 huge wins this year already, none bigger than the World 9-Ball Championships. Our 2 biggest majors, the World 9-Ball and now the U.S. Open. Not sure, is he trying to get, okay, nice shot, very containing shot. I'll tell you, we've seen this side of the game from both players here in this match, but the side that's going to win the tournament is running those balls, Phil. So both guys, not only to stay in the tournament here, somebody's got to go, but really to advance, you got to feel like they got to get that right arm moving. Does he elevate here? Does he play the safety? He could take a flick at the 7 ball here with the cue ball off the 1. He's trying to run it safe, and he's going to need a bit of help, and I think he got it. Elevating the cue a bit. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, he's shooting at it. What a shot.
Yeah, just a smattering of applause from around the table, but that deserved more.
Yeah, I think the pace of the match has probably gotten the fans a little complacent. Maybe some of them have moved on to see some of those outer scores.
Yeah, and I can tell you, on one of the out of tables, the Filipino Dennis Acolio is now on the hill against Oliver Szolnocki at 10-6.
He's tied up the pink onto the 9 now with no shot on the 3. He's got a few different ways to play safe here. He could just rub the 3 ball using the 6-4-9, bring the cue ball 1 rail back over. Just feather this ball. And just like that. Those types of safeties, what they do also is they keep the jump cue, you know, in the bag, let's say. Not really opening the 3 out in the middle of the table, offering maybe a pocketable jump shot. There you go. With shape, Phil. Perfect on the pink.
What a tide turner that could be. Things weren't going well for Kazakis. That was a bolt from the blue.
Yeah, and this is one of the types of shots where the 4 1/4 makes a huge difference. The 4 1/2, you kind of can overlook this ball knowing that they're not going to miss it, but the 4 1/4 makes this ball where you could rattle it. Oh, you hit it sweet. A little overrun with the cue ball, though. Now that does the 9 come into play a little bit? It looks like it may. This could get funny. He may have to just go into the 9 and take the cut shot on the 7. He tries to work the cue ball here. It could get away from him. I think I keep it simple if I'm Kazakis here. He needs to get back on the board. Just go into the 9 with the cue ball. Yeah, like that. As great as these guys are, Phil, they got to, you know, you got to pull on the reins a little bit at times, especially when things haven't gone so smoothly. Now just up and down with the cue ball. Shouldn't touch anything but the 2 short cushions. Uh-oh. Yeah, cueing not so great. I mean, that should have been much more in the center of the table. So he caught the 7 a little heavy to the pocket.
Now, watch when he's down on the shot. Watch potential movement. Sometimes he's as still as you like, but on others, he's all over the place.
Alex Kazakis.
In fairness to Kazakis there, that was smooth. And wow, what a turning point. Potting a ball out of a snooker and clearing up from there. We are back level. It was 6-6. It's now 7-7. Another player on the hill on table 2. Dennis Grabber, 10-9 up on Jason Shaw.
Wow, big turn of events again. Jason had grabbed a 2-game lead after trailing some 4 or 5 games. You know, Kazakis, for, you know, just like learning the game, we all have our different pace at learning the game, just like learning your nerves. It takes some longer than others to really figure out how to get those in check.
Blankety 15th frag.
Kazakis still
Alex Kazakis
dealing with them a little bit here.
We all squared 7
though.
racks each.
Well, some players can spend a lifetime and never get them in check. That's the point.
Yeah, you see in a lot of sports that you feel like once they get over that hump, you know, things are going to change, and they usually do a little bit, but sometimes it just takes a long time. Perfect break off there. The one got kissed a little, but it should open up, it looks like anyways. And that's the speed he had in the first break, to where he didn't really crush him, But he went and put some speed into it, and now look at Grabe.
Jason Shaw concedes with a 9-ball on the table, does he? Well, he's going to pot it anyway. What a result. The Estonian excellence of Dennis Grabber prevailing 11-9 over Jason Shaw, who goes to the one-loss side of the draw.
Well, Jason did all he could, it looked like, in that match. Grabe got out to a lead. Jason came back strong and probably just missed an opportunity maybe, or wasn't given an opportunity, and Grabe took full advantage. Jason, though, he put himself in a great spot yesterday with a big win over Trump, to where just had to win one out of the next two, so he'll be back trying to make that final 16. He's maybe overran this just a touch, and you can see a little shake of the head. Wasn't too happy there on such a simple shot to overrun the cue ball, and one reason is the 6 is there. I think he can go forward in between the 6-7 and back out to the middle of the table, but
we've got 4 players in the last 16 now for sure. Aloysius Schaap, Dennis Grabber, Max Lechner, and Dennis Okolio, who's just beaten Oliver Szolnocki 11-6.
yeah, and the last time we had the U.S. Open before the pandemic had arrived, the only guy that I again a little light, so a little jabby, you might say, with the stroke, so kind of takes a little out of the cue ball. But from what I recall, Aloysius Schaap was maybe the only one so far that has made both. Last time the U.S. Open's final 16, and now again in 2021. What did you think of the young man, Phil, from Singapore?
Well, I think he's a terrific player and a really good advert for his country, because he's got a wonderful, warm smile and great personality. Very hard to dislike, impossible to dislike.
Yeah, and it's very genuine in my opinion. And we both have a mutual friend, so I've gotten to spend some time with Aloysius, and he's a guy that I learn a lot from at the table. And nice shot there, being a little elevated. Probably got a little more cue ball movement than he wanted, but he had to come clear. But I think a guy may not be as weak this week. We'll see, but a guy that will be down in many big tournaments over the next 20-25 years.
He's feeling down now. It all turned on that potted ball when Kazakis was hooked. Oh, you saw the movement. There it is. It can always crop up with him. Always. Jumped up like a Mexican jumping bean.
Yeah, and it all starts with the backswing. When it gets a little quick, he comes a little quick downward, and it's a very common mistake from all of us. And
extension, please.
That ball rattling is a product of that. And you had talked about it. Really, the front hand moved, the body moved, the backhand had a little quiver. So now a funny kick shot just because it lays on the bottom point. Probably double kisses this ball in, may get on top of the 7 because he doesn't want to kick this very hard. Wants to kick it kind of light, medium-ish. Uh-oh, I'm not sure this is going to get it.
Foul shot.
I think that was trying to be a little perfect with the kick. If he kicks in there and just hits the 6, it's going to double kiss in. It's not going to lose the cue ball. But Kazakis with a great roll there. Big miss on the 6, and it doesn't cost him.
Well, that was the wages of sin, wasn't it? Wow. Talk about lucky. I mean, it's one thing to get a little bit of luck when you've played a slightly imperfect shot, but when you've absolutely butchered a shot to get that luck. Now, in the mind of Albin Ouschan, he's got to try and defeat the demons who are telling him it's not going to be your day.
Yeah, we'll see if, Kazakis, the key to winning tournaments is when you get a roll, take full advantage. Not only just getting out here, of course, but putting a few racks together.
Well, somehow, don't ask me how, Alexander Kazakis is back in front. He leads by 8 racks to 7. Can he cope with the pressure as the heat is turned up towards the end of the contest? We'll find out in just a moment. Over the course of this week, we've been treated to non-stop pool on 33 tables from Monday onwards. Now, though, the only game in town is the one we're watching. The session is closed, apart from this, so all of the crowd have congregated around table 1. It creates quite a special atmosphere, and a very big name could be on the chopping block. Alexander Kazakis leads Albin Ouschan 8-7. Can Kazakis claim a notable scalp? The one thing we're watching out for is that involuntary movement when he plays on certain shots, when the shoulder comes into it so much you can hardly believe. It's happened 2 or 3 times already in the match, and I would hazard a very confident guess it's going to happen again at some point before the handshake is done.
Yeah, Albin with a couple of early misses that he'd like to have back that really allowed Alex to get that lead. Now back in the lead at 8-7. The break hasn't been the problem, really. Just a few shots after. Or let's say the break hasn't been the problem the latter half of the match. And now he's going to get another shot on the one. Gotta love this.
Before we get into this rack, I can tell you that Jason Shaw, after his defeat, goes into the losers qualification round, and he awaits either Jeffrey De Luna or Carlo Biardo, so he will face Filipino opposition to make it into the last 16 tomorrow.
Again, a bit of nerves, and whoa, what a roll he's gotten there, getting him behind the 2. I'm not so sure it's going to save him. Albin very efficient with the jump cue, but one thing I've seen from both guys, or let's say I haven't seen, not saying they're rhythmic players, but
Extension, please.
you do see a little bit of rhythm even from the guys that are a bit slower and whatnot, you know, their rhythm, and I haven't seen that at all in this match from either player, Phil.
I think the point worth making here, though, is that Kazakis now 3 times on the trot has been really lucky. Potting a ball out of a hook, then missing that 6 badly, hooking Ouschan, and now missing the 1 and hooking him again.
Yeah, thin. He doesn't have a pocket by the purple, by the 5 ball for the corner, so he's got to take on the side. Awful thin. Don't think there's much of a scratch involved if he pockets the ball, which has got to be a comforting feeling for Albin, but still he's had a couple misses on shots similar. And there, another miss. So I know we've talked about a few lucky situations for Alex, but we have had some mistakes from Albin as well.
Absolutely true. He's missed 7 pots in the match. That's far higher than normal. Far higher than he can process without being sick to the stomach.
Yeah, and this is where I think normally, if you're feeling good, these guys take on this cross-side bank. A little chance with the cue ball, but better than letting your opponent come to the table and kick out of a safety. But I think he's still going with the offensive shot. Yeah, didn't get it. So Albin's going to be left with, I think, a much easier shot than the last.
For quite some time now, you've been thinking Ouschan is going to take a stranglehold on the match, but it's not happened yet. Kazakis at his best was 4-1 ahead, then 5-2. Slowly, it's become tighter and tighter. And you would feel that as the pressure is cranked up, Ouschan would want to be better equipped to cope. That said, Kazakis is the World Masters champion.
Yeah, that Whirlpool Masters, very condensed field of a lot of great players. So you don't start off with any, what you might say, cupcake matches. May do well for some of these guys in that event that go on to win, but can't really put my finger on what's going on here with these two and why. I mean, they're pretty deep in the tournament, so they've had to play pretty great pool overall. Just wondering why. They both played on the TV table plenty. I think he's a little off angle here. Not quite enough angle to stun to the side rail so easily, but too much angle to draw on the good side of the 7, so he may be drawn on top of the 7 here or near it. That's a beautiful stroke there.
Albin Ouschan.
What a lengthy match this has been, and it's still some way from being resolved. Albin Ouschan and Alexander Kazakis back, all tied up, this time at 8 racks each. One match, though, that is over. Dennis Grabber has beaten Jason Shaw 11-9. I'm sure the tremendous talent from Tallinn is delighted.
In a classic match, talk to us about it.
Yeah, it was a crazy match. I had a good start, 5-0 lead. I made 4 runouts, and then he started coming back. I know he's strong when he starts coming back, so I needed to push on. But I missed my chance to go 8-4 up, and then he was 9-7 up, but I managed to win the last 4 racks. It was a crazy match, really.
Yeah, I watched a lot of it. Jason's been playing well this event. Obviously, you've just beaten him, so that must give you a lot of confidence moving forward to the last 16.
Yeah, I have made many runouts in this tournament, and I feel confident, especially beating Jason. It gives me some more confidence going forward.
And what about the pocket size? Do you like the smaller pocket?
Yeah, I love them.
Dennis, I wish you all the best in the last 16.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
hope it's your week.
Thank you.
Cheers, pal.
Thank
Two
you,
players
rack
called
17.
Dennis
Albin Ouschan to break.
through
Current
to the last
scores,
16.
8 racks.
Okolo and Grabber. Two very different personalities, two formidable players. Talking of which, what about the unfinished business here?
Great cue ball. The 1's going to get over the pocket. We'll see if the 6 or the 2 ball gets in the way. I think he's okay. It's got to work, though. The 2 in the middle of the table, the 3 back on the other end, so nothing easy. I think he has a shot. He looks a little disgusted, but I think he at least has a real first shot on the 1. Maybe not a direct look at the 1 ball, but definitely has something.
I mentioned before, by the way, that we're going to see Shane Van Boning in the next session against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Well, I think also on table 1 this evening is going to be an absolute mouth-watering encounter between Skylar Woodward and the defending champion
please.
Joshua Filler.
Two guys who played plenty in the Mosconi Cup and have played in other places. Always big matches. Taking the entire time here after the break. They do get 1 minute, then the extension if they need it. He's taking that extension. Feels like this shot on the 1 may be the shot of the rack. If he can gain position on the 2. He has to go rail first. Cue ball could be going towards the 3. Oh, nice hit there.
You see that in snooker. Not too often where a player, oh, woe is me, no shot, gets down, sweet as a nut, pots it. It winds up the other guy like you would not believe.
Yeah, a little Hollywood is what we call that in the pool room. All right, taking this on. He has the corner or the side. Doesn't want straight. Straight could be a very big problem. He's all right. He's got a little angle. Looks like the 6 is in the way to come forward 2 rails, so he should draw the cue ball. 2 rails with low left English, trying to bring the cue ball all the way back down for the 4, or excuse me, the 5.
Well, last night in the match between Alex Pagulayan and Jeffrey DeLuna, it wasn't 70-70 balls spotted. It was 99 for DeLuna, 0 for Pagulayan. This is a very different kind of matchup.
I actually spoke with a couple of the players last night about that match afterwards, and I'm not sure if they believe me still. I had to tell them about 5 or 6 times that he never pocketed the ball in the match, and they just didn't believe what I had to say. Not something you're going to see very often. Now decisions. I think he probably, from this angle, comes one rail. Not behind the 8. He could fall on the rail behind the 8 and try and get much more straight on the 7. But this angle right here, he doesn't have a whole lot to naturally get there. So he may stay above the 8 and take the cut shot on the 7. More of the safe play. He went behind it, so watch out 8 ball. Oh, got a little rub, but got away with it.
Considering the overall run that Ouschan's had, I don't think we can begrudge him that.
Albin Ouschan wins the race.
Ouschan just edges ahead once more at 9-8. Will he be the stronger player when it matters most? Tell you what matters. World-class pool brought to you by Matchroom Multisport. The Weber Cup is going to be contested at the Morningside Arena in Leicester next month, October 14 to 16. We had a perfect game in the Weber Cup last year. The USA are the holders, and that's the perfect game to get into 10-pin bowling. It really is terrific to watch. Then, from December the 7th to the 10th, my co-commentator Jeremy Jones will be captaining the USA, trying to regain the Mosconi Cup at Ali Pali in London against the might of Europe. And finally, a newly announced tournament, the UK Open, in late May at the Copper Box Arena in London. Can't wait for that one. It's basically the same template as this. 256 players, big money, the biggest field, the biggest prize money ever for a pool tournament on UK shores.
Albin Ouschan to break. He's leading the match 9.
That'll be awesome to see and hopefully be a part of. Matchroom doing all kinds of things in the pool world. Now world champion Albin Ouschan, reigning world champion Albin Ouschan to break at 9-8. Okay, he's made the 1. He's made a few on the break. He's got a tough shot on the 2. 1 he will attack on, but still not easy. He's got to go back and forth with the cue ball to get on the purple 5.
Well, Jeremy, if either of these two make the final, it's a good practice run because every pair of eyes in this arena is trained on them now. No competing attractions.
Yeah, Atlantic City and, of course, the upper Northeast. And every year for as long as I've been coming to the U.S. Open, whether it was in Virginia, of course in Vegas a couple years ago, but always some of the biggest pool fans from this area would always make the trip down south to watch the U.S. Open. Big shot on the 2 ball here. Oh, he's hit it sweet. He made that look easy, Phil. And now it's just a nice shot on the 5 to fall downward on the green 6, and he should get to the hill here.
Look at the crowd, absolutely loving it. Enraptured. It's not been the highest quality match, one has to say that, but I think in cue sports, sometimes quality and gripping drama don't necessarily go together.
Yeah, that's right. And the thing is, we don't see this very often, so when you have one that takes a bit of grit and a bit of fight to get through, even though there's not much perfection involved, you can feed off that, and the fans appreciate it. They understand. It's not always going to be perfect, but now in a perfect position to get to the hill. Kazakis can only wait and hope he gets a chance. He knows he's probably a slight underdog to get a shot from here. Not just this game, but the next. big underdog this game, but I think even an underdog next game as well. Oh, what a big shot on a 2-ball that he made in this game here. Feel that after missing or, having some mistakes, like you said, has missed 7 open shots. Easy to chalk up that 2-ball as a miss and not even be too worried about it because it was a tough shot, but Ouschan knocked it in and now to clear the table and take a 10-8 lead.
Albin Ouschan wins the rack.
The man from a country famous for its mountains finds himself on the hill. Albin Ouschan leading by 10 racks to 8, winning the US Open and World 9-Ball Championship in the same year. You have to think that would be Poole's holy grail. Well, he's still got hope. One more rack to go here, and Ouschan will be through and over one more hurdle. If you're just joining us, I can tell you that the winner of this match will take on Chang Junlin in losers round 7.
Yeah, well, first things first for both of these guys, and Albin's looking to close it out, but the game's going to have to be a little bit more on par to get past Chang in the next round and make the final 16. Chang, one of the most consistent players on the planet. The 10-ball he missed earlier, didn't expect that ever.
Thank you. The 19th rack. Albin Ouschan is breaking on the hill, leading by 10 racks to 8.
Is this significant? It's the first time that Ouschan has had a 2-rack gap in the match.
It'll be his last time to break, so he wants to make the most of it. A little bit of an ugly kiss on the cue ball. He's going to get a shot on the 1. Well, I'll tell you, so often this first shot tells the story about what's going to happen in the rest of this rack, and it's the same thing here at 10-8. We can bury this one. I think position is okay coming down for the 2-ball.
And not wishing to put too much of an exaggerated thought on this, but if Ouschan can run this rack now, it might put paid to Alexander Kazakis' chance not only of being in this tournament, yes, he would be out for definite, but also of maybe making the Mosconi Cup team. So much rides on it.
Great shot there, and really clean with the cue ball. And I was thinking about it before he struck that ball that, one thing that, of course, separates the winners from the losers is coming through a tough match and still being able to close the door when he gets the chance. And I wouldn't say second to none, but definitely Albin Ouschan, one of the best at that. Falling a little straight here, though, so we'll see how he wants to work the cue ball to get on the pink. And it's important he gets on the pink well. The purple 5 kind of on the opposite rail. Screwed the cue ball back to the rail and then spun it up to the middle of the table, though, but he fell a little off angle again and cueing a little hampered by the brown 7. Does he have to go short side here on the purple 5? I think so, but that should be fine. Smart shot there. It's going to overrun just a little. Should be okay.
Fool's Grim Reaper lurking around, trying to find Alexander Kazakis at the moment. He knows that this tournament and his participation in it is hanging by the proverbial thread.
Yeah, and even more so, he knows he had his chances along with a pretty big lead. Is that enough cue ball there? Okay, it's just barely going to break the 8 there, break the line, but still probably want another 6 or 8 inches. That's probably going to be the most upsetting if Albin goes to get out here, Phil, is Alex had the match, not won, but he definitely had a chance to take a serious lead. Didn't quite get it done.
Too true, Jeremy, and his Mosconi Cup hopes now are in doubt. Can't imagine this 9 ball's in doubt, though.
Albin Ouschan.
Albin Ouschan coming good when it really counted. He was 4-1 down at his lowest ebb. He was 8-7 down. But the world champion shows why he's a champion, winning the last 4 racks to record an 11-8 victory. Boy, that was one dramatic match in the end. It wasn't the best quality, but it was gripping. Now, this is what we've got for you this evening. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz up against Shane Van Boening on table 1 to start. Over on table 2, the all-Filipino affair between